Do stay with us here on BBC World News. Still to come, we'll take you live to the US state of South Carolina. It's a Trump stronghold, but we'll find out why it's the Senate race there that is being watched so closely. This is BBC World News. Our top story today. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are making a dash around the battleground states in the last stretch of campaigning before Tuesday's presidential election. Well, it's not a battleground state. It is Trump heartland, South Carolina. But let's take you straight there and join our correspondent Larry Madowo, because it's actually, Larry, the Senate race that seems most interesting where you are.
It's very interesting because Jamie Harrison is giving Lindsey Graham a run for his money. This is already probably the most expensive Senate campaign ever in American history. Jamie Harrison raised over $100 million, which had never been raised before. And Lindsey Graham is important because he's a key ally of President Trump. He was the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate that confirmed Judge Amy Coney Barrett, who's actually starting work on Monday. We'll be hearing a case for the first time. And it's stunning that he might lose a seat in South Carolina. President Trump won the state by 14 points, and he's leading by about 9 right now. So it's one of those solid places where he's largely expected to win. But let's get a sense of how important it is for what's happening here in the national map. I have with me now the chair of the GOP here, the Republican Party in Greenville, Nate Leupp. Thank you for coming in this morning.
No problem. Welcome to Greenville.
Thank you so much. How confident do you feel about your presidential candidate going into tomorrow?
Very confident, especially in South Carolina. South Carolinians, like many Americans, aren't voting for President Trump based on his personality. They're voting for him based on his agenda and his accomplishments, and we're very proud of that. Think about some things that he's done that no other presidents have done. He's kept us out of new international wars, conflicts, and of course you mentioned Justice Barrett now. Very proud of that. So Americans are supporting Trump based on results.
Some of the people we spoke to, though, told us, I'm not a big fan of President Trump, but I'm a Republican, and so I'm voting for him. Do you think they're voting for President Trump or for a conservative platform?
I think both. You don't have to adopt the man to be proud of what he's accomplished. And when it comes down to our American lives, accomplishments are key. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And that answer, I've seen polls, up to 56% said yes, we are better off, even in the middle of a pandemic.
So how is it possible then that President Trump has a big lead in this state in the polls, and yet in the Senate race, Jamie Harrison might unseat one of his key allies, Lindsey Graham?
I don't expect that to happen. I don't see it happening. The polls that I've seen undersample our Republican base by upwards of 10 to 15 points. So I think at the end of the day tomorrow, we'll see Senator Graham reelected to another 6-year term.
One of the people I spoke to yesterday told me, you know what, I like President Trump because he's not a politician. He's not a Washington creature, and yet they feel Senator Graham, he's a Washington creature. He's been 25 years in Washington. He's become one of the politicians, and that's why Jamie Harrison is competitive here.
I think we respect Senator Graham because he knows how to get things done. Yes, President Trump is not a Washington insider, but you do have to have close allies that know how to navigate the swamp. D.C. is a mess. Getting things done is next to impossible. So you do need people that know exactly how to navigate Washington, D.C., and there's really no better person than Senator Lindsey Graham.
The Carolinas are not a monolith. So South Carolina, President Trump is leading here, but North Carolina is a swing state, and he might lose North Carolina. How is that possible for states that are so close and share so much culturally?
We're in the middle of the Bible Belt, but there's a lot of diversity within both of our states. And I think that North Carolina will go for President Trump. I believe we'll hold the Senate seat there. But really, I think at the end of the day, when voters make that decision, the vast majority that have not yet made that, they're going to look and take a serious look and say, we are doing well, America's doing well, and we don't want to take a chance on an unknown factor that may not be on the top of his game right now. We may not approve of everything that President Trump does, but we have seen what he's done on the economy. We have seen him keep his promises, and I think we'll see him win another term.
Nate Leupp, thank you so much. Nate Leupp is the chairman of the Republican Party here in Greenville. This is upstate South Carolina, the very conservative part of the state, of a very conservative state generally. And North Carolina, on the other hand, is a swing state where President Trump might lose. Some of the polls have Joe Biden leading there. That's an entirely different story. I'll be there tomorrow, so we'll get to that tomorrow on Election Day. But right here in South Carolina, it still looks like President Trump is feeling comfortable here. He's not even been here in 8 months. He doesn't need to be. He's spending all the time in Florida and in Pennsylvania because that is where it's all the attention and where he's most vulnerable. Let's see.
Larry, good to see you. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow in North Carolina.